So what does Daigo do? He says, Wano has been shimmying me. Watch this. He just woke up and walked at him. Okay? Like, what are the balls on this guy that he's about to get stunned? And he just walks up from like here to here and just throws him. Hello YouTube. So we're back with another Street Fighter 6 video. A lot of our recent videos have been a lot of higher level footsies, but let's talk about some of the things, smaller things that happen in almost every game at almost every level, and just have some tips around how to beat them or things you need to implement. And if you're new to Street Fighter, I would imagine you learn a lot here. If you've been playing Street Fighter for a while, hopefully there's one or two tips that you weren't sure about, or I can explain to you even though you knew about it. Anyway, so let's get started. The first one, the most simple, we're going to start easy, and that's dealing with fireballs. So the most obvious way to deal with a fireball is to block it, but that's not great in this game, right? Because it eats at your drive meter. Look, just blocking two of these would have taken almost, I wouldn't say almost a full bar, but quite a bit. So what people will also do is they'll parry, right? You don't lose as much by parrying. You can also try to perfect parry. I'm not that great at perfect parrying, but I would say the most underused by newer players, if you played older Street Fighter games, you do this for sure, is you have to make sure you neutral jump fireballs. Okay, don't do it all the time for sure, especially because drive rush exists in this game. So if Guile thought I would ever neutral jump, he could just run at me and anti-air me, right? You can't really do that in other games. But why is neutral jumping so good? Because the game doesn't let you have two fireballs on the screen at the same time, and the thing is, the screen kind of lies to you. So this is still, you know where Cammy is back here where this back chair is? This is still the full screen, even though we can't see it here, right? There's a chair behind me. And even though it's not literally on the screen, it still counts. Watch this, because I'm gonna jump the boom and it's gone, but he cannot throw another one. It's technically off screen, right? But he can't throw another one. I'll even move back a bit so we can see more of the screen. Gone. He can't throw another boom. And this is big because it's especially for charge characters, you could throw off their charge timing. If Guile was, especially at a lower level, just autopiloting this timing of his booms, which is pretty common. People will do two of them as fast as possible. If you neutral jump one, they'll whiff the second one. Maybe you could whiff punish, maybe you use that as a chance to just walk forward. And yeah, just something you need to include in your arsenal. Now for Cammy specifically, not as big a deal because, you know, she has stuff like this. That doesn't even punish because it's Guile. She could try to dive kick over it. Also, not the best. I don't think her dive kick is that good at going over fireballs, but it's possible, especially EX. But yeah, your character might have specific things, and that's something you need to get used to doing. Now, if your character has a fireball themselves, I don't need to show the video here, but make sure I'll show it. Okay, so the other thing about dealing with fireballs is if you have your own fireball, don't be too scared to waste some meter to win the fireball war, right? What do I mean by that is that in this game, this wasn't the case in older Street Fighter games. In older Street Fighter games, a lot of the times the fireballs worked by the number of hits. So an EX fireball would have 2 hits, a normal fireball would have 1. And so they would clash, the EX has 1 more and it kept going. But in this game, an EX beats any amount of hits from a normal fireball. So let's record DJ here. All right, he has 2 hits of his fireball. So if I throw my own fireball, DJ is really good at this because he's beating my fireball, right? Right, so our fireballs clash and then his next one goes through because he has 2. Now, if I EX, we don't trade. In a previous Street Fighter game, this might trade because it's 2 hits each, but my EX will always just win and it'll still keep its 2 hits afterwards. Right? His fireballs are not eating my 2 hits. So use this if you're a character like Ken. People say, you know, his fireball's not the best, but having any fireball in this game is a big advantage in my opinion because of stuff like this, right? A character like Guile, DJ, even though they have multi-hit fireballs, you close the distance on them so fast by wasting 2 bars, right? Now we're here, he can't really play that game anymore. Okay, so for the next tip, we'll talk about walking back. Now, walking back seems like something obvious, but it's very, very strong in this game in block strings. Why? Because everyone has to essentially block string with minus moves for the most part. Some characters have like +2, like Jury's medium punch, but it pushes you back so far anyway. But like someone like Cammy, right? She wanted to block string me. She's mostly just gonna do this. Why? Because if I mash in between that, I'll get counter hit. I can't like jump in between it, right? She'll hit me. And if she does anything else, I can mash in between it. Like only if she cancels lights into lights. If she does any medium on my block, I can mash between it, right? Let's say she wanted to do something like this even, and Cammy's do this. You want to do a light kick at the end because it has more rate. It has more reach. That's usually how she'll combo. I actually can interrupt this, right? So why is walking back so good? Because you can only cancel lights into lights for like actual frame traps. You have no threat of going low unless someone goes out of their way to leave a giant gap. Okay, so let's go back into Cammy's case where she does something like this. He does that. If I walk back, I'll never get hit, and now the space between us is very far, right? So she does it. Why does this matter? Because in order for her to stop me from doing this, she needs to do this. Something like this, right? To like really make me want to stop walking back, because then she'll hit me low because I'm not blocking low anymore right here. And if she does that, now I get to mash. Right? So you get to play this game that if you're going to stop me from walking back, you have to leave a big enough gap in your lights that I can just hit you. Especially after two. Like Cammy herself, maybe some characters are different. She can also do something like this. And that second one would stop me, right? So if she does this, the second one will stop me from walking. But the third one won't. So if I block 2 hits from Cammy, there's no reason for me not to start walking back. Okay, so why is walking back even such an important thing? Because you can no longer get hit by this when you walk back, okay? This is something people do a lot. They'll do a single jab into throw. If they do too many jabs, you'll get out of the way, and they can't do plus on block like mediums, right? Watch this, I'm just holding back. I start walking back, and her grab will always miss me. Now, usually if you actually block this, you get grabbed, right? So sometimes you get hit, you block a Cammy jab, you don't want to press back in case she does more jabs. But if that's the case, you can just start walking back, because you won't get hit by walking back. And then you could punish the throw if you had fast enough reactions. But yeah. Okay, so let's talk about delay tech or fuzzy tech, and this is also a big one, and we're going to combine that with walking back in a second. So what is fuzzy teching? It's essentially when you're tech late, you tech late enough that if they pressed a move, you would have blocked it. If they grabbed you, you would have teched it, okay? So when you get thrown in this game, you have, I think it was 9 or 8 frames to tech. So even though Cammy grabs me, I have 8 or 9 frames in which I can press throw back and I'll push her away, right? You can kind of see it if I can slow the game down. How like she grabs first, there's like a pause, and then the grab animation starts, right? So watch, I'm gonna wake up and I press the tech a little bit late. I don't know if you could tell there. Okay, so what would happen if Cammy tried to hit me instead? If I did the exact same input I just did, you see my inputs on the top left? It means I threw. See, I'm blocking her medium punch, but I actually pressed the throw. What does this mean? It means that if she hits me, I'm blocking it because I'm blocking first for a few frames and I'm teching late. I'm doing a delayed tech. This is called delayed tech, fuzzy tech, you'll hear both. And kind of the purpose is that you block first for a few frames on your wake up and then you press tech. So if she was to throw me and I did this exact input, I wouldn't have anything to block, so I would be teching her throw. It's like one of the most basic option selects in the game ever since Street Fighter 5. Street Fighter 4, I don't think it existed because you would just crouch light kick instead. But yeah, it doesn't matter. So if Cammy did this to us and we get thrown, we get fuzzy tech here too, right? So let's say we don't want to mash, we press grab late. So block one jab and then press grab late. If she does a second jab, we would have blocked it. If she grabbed us, we tech it, right? Okay, so how do you beat people who fuzzy tech? This is our next tip. You have to shimmy them. So if Cammy does this, I'm autopiloting fuzzy teching, which a lot of people do. You'll notice as you climb, a lot of people will delay tech against you. It'll just feel like they're too good at defense. So you melee them, they always block it. You throw them, they always tech it. How do you beat people who do this? Well, they're probably fuzzy teching almost every time. This is a habit I had in Street Fighter 5. I just did it pretty much all the time until people started beating me for it. And how do you beat someone? You shimmy them. So this how it'll look like this. You walk up to them as if you're gonna throw or melee, and then you walk it back and you wait for their delayed tech, which would look like this. Watch, so I'm gonna do the same thing I did every time. And as you saw, I got punished. You'll see this in high level play all the time, because people fuzzy tech a lot, because it's a good option for the most part. So let's go full circle here. How do you beat shimmy now, right? You can't wake up DP. Let's say you literally know someone's gonna shimmy. How do you beat it? You can't wake up DP. She's gonna block it because she's walking back. So that's why shimmying is also so good. It beats wake up DP and wake up grab because you're pressing back. So if you really know that they're gonna shimmy, you have to hard call it out. I think shimmy is one of the things that if you want to beat it, you just go for a hard read. I do this all the time. I wish I could pull up some VODs that actually win like a lot of games because I notice people shimmy a lot, and I just do this. I wake up crouch medium kick. And why is that so good? Because you get so much off of it in this game. Let's say it's a pretty close game. We're both at 50% health. If my execution was in complete doggy on leverless. Right, if you have like enough meter or whatever, you just kill someone for trying to shimmy you, which is like something I would not go for a lot, but something you need to have in your repertoire. People will shimmy you the higher level you get, a lot. If you wake up all the time and you notice someone is shimmying you, keep that in the back of your head and sometimes just call it out. This isn't like something that I just do. I want to show you a very, very famous clip of Daigo. Okay, here it is. In this clip, Daigo, I'll just show you. This is in Street Fighter 5. So yeah, Kawano shimmies him here, watch. See that? He like double shimmied him. And this was like a super delay tech from Daigo. Watch it. And Colleen gives him a long time, walks forward, back, and shimmies him. You hear that? So James Chen said that's how he won the first round. So Kawano has shimmied Daigo a few times. And now Daigo in the back of his head said, this guy's shimmying me. I'm grabbing too much. What does he do? I was about to spoil it. This is a pretty famous clip. And now this is so risky now because in Street Fighter 5, which doesn't exist in 6, which is one of the reasons I think throw loops are actually necessary, but that's a different topic, is if he gets grabbed again, he will get stunned. So in Street Fighter 5, there were no throw loops, so people would they would say take the throw, just take it, whatever. It's just not worth getting shimmied. Just take the throw, it'll do a little bit of damage, a little bit of stun. Once you're at this point, you can no longer take a throw. You'll get stunned, and you'll take a shit ton of damage if you got stunned off a single hit. But what does Daigo do? He says, Wano has been shimmying me. Watch this. He just woke up and walked at him, okay? Like, what are the balls on this guy that he's about to get stunned? And he just walks up from like here to here and just throws him. So yeah, if you think someone's gonna shimmy you, you have to call it out. You have to go offensive. Shimmying is not like, people look at it as like some kind of ultra safe defensive tactic that beats a lot of wake up options, which is true, but it doesn't beat everything. You have to walk back to shimmy, especially in Street Fighter 6. You have to walk back a lot. Throw ranges are insane. You can't down back, you'll get thrown, right? Yeah, if you want to beat shimmies, take a risk. It's worth taking sometimes. You have to show people that they cannot shimmy you for free. And yeah, keep that in mind. And it's something that might take you a while to implement because it's kind of scary. Like, wake up medium kick, are you kidding me? But it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot sometimes. Anyway, next tip. Okay, so now I'm actually gonna implement pretty much the last few things we talked about in a row. So watch what Jamie's gonna do to me. I'm just gonna let him play. He's gonna knock me down, and then he's either gonna grab me on wake up, he's gonna tick throw me on wake up, like jab. He's gonna grab me, he's gonna hit me with a jab, and he's gonna tick throw me, either like, you know, just like a jab into a throw. And I'm gonna beat all of these options by doing the last few things we talked about. I'm gonna wake up with a delay tech. So if he throws me, I'll tech it. If he jabs me, I'll block it. And then I'm gonna immediately start walking back. So if I get thrown, I'll tech it. If he jabs me, I'll block it. And if he tick throws me after his jab, I'll start walking back, right? So even if I delay tech just to jab, watch this. I don't know if he's gonna do it right away. If I delay tech, it works. Whoops. I'll delay tech again. But I get grabbed this time, right? Because even though I delayed tech, which was great, I blocked the jab because my delay tech was on time. He just tick through me anyway, which is something that happens a lot in this game. So get used to walking back after your delay tech. Watch this. All right. This is like, you'll play someone that does this stuff to you and it'll feel like they have ultimate defense. How they tech everything, they block everything on wake up because they're delay teching you and they might be walking back. Right, so that's something I would encourage learning. This one is a little more high level because you're kind of implementing a bunch of things at once. I wouldn't worry too much about it. First, just start getting used to walking back if people jab you a lot, and delay teching in general. Don't rely on it like I did in Street Fighter 5. I got shimmied a lot, but know it's an option and use it. Okay, so let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, throw loops. Something that I actually think is good for the game. I'm in the minority here. I could make a whole video explaining why, not just stun, but anyway. Throw loops are something that most characters have, not everything, and the way it essentially works is, see if Cammy gets a throw here. She's plus 17. That means I can take a few steps and throw, and my throw is 5 frames, and my throw will already be connecting with you the second you wake up, so you could literally do nothing except try to tech it, try to jump out, right? I'm gonna wake up mash jab. If you play Guilty Gear, this is something probably you tried. You think someone's gonna throw me, you mash your jab. I got counter hit. So what do you do to get out of the situation? Well, there's very few things that you're actually allowed to do here, but You have to know all of them and you have to use them. Right? The first one, the most simple, you wake up DP. If you have that as an option, you wake up super if you have that as an option. It's worth going for sometimes. It'll obviously lose to them doing nothing and blocking or shimmying you. But like nothing in any fighting game has no answers to it, right? But it's something you have to do sometimes, just to get people scared that you'll do it. And maybe they'll start shimmying you more, and then you use the crouch medium kick we talked about before, right? What else can you do? Well, a lot of things, another thing I've noticed a lot of people do, and I'm assuming they came from Guilty Gear, or maybe they just, you know, have a habit, is they'll jump, right? This looks good. Well, let's set the enemy Cammy to jump when I try to throw loop her, and let's talk about why it's not good. So I walk up trying to throw her, she jumps, she can land on me and hit me, right? Well, that's not the case in Street Fighter. Throws are, I swear, they're plus on whiff. You can get hit on your way down, right? And you will against a good player. Maybe you will get away with it. Like even people neutral jump against me and I'm like, man, I can't believe I didn't hit them on the way down because I wasn't like ready. But there's almost no reason as me as the offensive Cammy to just buffer a DP here. Because, why did I do that one? But if my grab hit, there's like, doing this motion doesn't mean anything, right? Look, my grab hit. If my grab whiffed, I noticed it whiffed and I pressed that. So that didn't work. But if you jump over them, this is a better option because it's harder to deal with, but it's not, it's the same thing, right? She still has option to turn around. Like this is called a cross cut. There's probably plenty of videos on how to do that. Same idea. And you don't even have to cross cut, I don't think, right? I'm pretty sure I could just like, right? I could just do that. Especially for Cammy, because I'm already holding forward in this case. This becomes my back medium kick. I get a combo off it. So yeah, it's a better option because I think less people are used to dealing with it, or people are less used to dealing with it. And it's a little harder, especially if you're not good at cross-cutting. But it's still not something to get used to because when you play someone who is good, they will punish you. And the other thing is that I think this is a better option because sometimes it's worth it, right? Obviously in that case where Cammy just got, like, if I get this on you, okay, it wasn't worth it, right? You just took half your health. Yeah, but if I did this to you, it's not that big a deal, right? You took 800 damage and you're out of the corner. I can no longer throw loop you that way. That if you're going to default to a not good option, which doesn't make sense, just pick a good option technically. That one's fine. But what's the better option, in my opinion? It is backdash. People don't do it enough because, especially if you're used to Guilty Gear, your backdash is invincible. There's a reason to use it. In Street Fighter, if you ever wake up backdash, you're like, people are hating me out of it. Why would I ever do it? See how -5 there after that? Maybe I could be a little less minus if I timed it, but you know, just human error in every throw loop, because unless they're auto timed like juries. Let's actually try it with juries. That's a good example. But yeah, as you see that in that example against Cammy, the enemy Cammy was +5. So +5, yeah, exactly. And if you're +5, that means you punish. +4, even then, she punishes. Cammy's crouch light punch is 4 frames. So if she backdashed and then just did like something like that, right? She punished me for throwing. And that's something no one's doing. I don't know why. I was watching a tournament last night, the Intel one. Knuckle Dude does it a lot. He's been doing it for like since the game came out, but I've noticed not a lot of other people try to backdash throw loops for whatever reason. It's the better option. Don't jump. If you are reading a throw, again, if you're reading a shimmy, you wake up medium kick. That doesn't mean that your wake up medium kick will beat whatever they do. If you think they'll shimmy and they meaty you, your wake up medium kick's getting stuffed. If you think they'll throw you and you backdash, you're getting hit. But the idea here is there's an option if you make the right read, and you need to know what the good option is. Jumping is not the good option. Mashing jab is not the good option. Mashing a normal is not the good option. If you read that they're going to throw you, a good option is DP or backdash. Backdash is a little safer. The other good thing about backdash in this game is that I did not get a counter hit. In Street Fighter 5, if I hit your backdash, I got a counter hit. If I hit your backdash with a big button, I got a crush counter and you died. Because you're not giving them a counter hit with your backdash, you'll take a smaller combo as well. So it's just so much better than waking up with a button. So yeah, keep that in mind, okay? There's a guessing game in the throw loops, but you have options to beat everything. Backdash beats throw, crouch medium kick beats shimmy, or crouch light kick maybe, or sweep, whatever. Or walk up throw like we saw Daigo do. And if your character is privileged, you might have, but yeah, look at the options. Don't just complain about throw loops. Know what your options are and pick a good one. If you're jumping out of the corner, if you're neutral jumping when you read my grab and I DP you, it's not because throw loops are broken, it's because you chose that option. Okay? And yeah, that's pretty much all the tips I wanted to talk about. There's probably a few more I could have added. I can't think of it on the top of my head. There's something about like cutting drive rush's sword I want to talk about, but I'll make that its own video. I hope you learned something. If you did, or if there's anything you're unsure about, or if you're not sure about, let me know any question in the game of how do I deal with X. I'll show you. Nothing in this game is unbeatable. Everything has an answer. But these are things that'll happen a lot in game, especially as you climb. People will throw you, loop you more, they'll shimmy you more. You need to get used to, they'll defensively delay tech against you more. So you need to know the answers. Even if you don't want to use any of the stuff yourself, you need to know how to beat it. And I hope you learned at least how to do that. If you did learn something, I would appreciate a like and a subscription. And yeah, again, let me know in the comments what you think and anything you would like me to show you how to beat. If you're actually unsure, I'll show it to you. See you guys next time. Stay beautiful.